Welcome to the Funnel Reboot podcast with your host, Glenn Schmeltzley. Let's get into today's show.
Hey, Glenn here. Welcome to Funnel Reboot. I hope that you're getting value out of the show. If you are, I would ask that you please consider giving a rating or a review wherever you listen. Okay, let's get straight to today's show and a quick disclaimer before we begin. We're hearing from a guest today who is from a product vendor, but they're coming on the show to give their perspective, and I don't have any commercial relationship with them. And today, what we're going to talk about is how those of us who sell things find new buyers. Once we've exhausted our own audiences, we involve partners, and we can do it in a few ways. Take a partner who may have a high trafficked website or be a social media influencer. We who are trying to sell can use that someone else's channel and reach their audience, and in hopes that they will buy from us. Or we may be the one who is influential or who has a large audience that brands want to reach. And so others may pay us to be their marketing channel. And the name for teaming up like this is affiliate marketing. Today's guest came to affiliate marketing through dabbling in online gambling. He watched the incentives that sites put out to attract players. And then in 2010, he was so interested by this that he made a website that reviewed those gambling sites and how they used affiliate programs. It was called Gaming Affiliates Guide. This site's own traffic brought him to becoming you guessed it, affiliate himself. And over time, he managed several gambling affiliate sites. As you progress through this, though, you'll always hit a ceiling with this marketing channel. No matter whether you're the one needing traffic and paying for it, or the one who's got traffic and is turning it into money, everyone gets a headache trying to track it. As our guest was deeply involved at this point, getting paid to manage affiliate sites, he saw numerous problems in the industry, and he thought of a way to solve them. There were already applications that reported affiliate activity, but he saw that technology's shortcomings. And as his engineering degree from University of Toronto had taught him how to develop things, he joined up with partners to make a SaaS tool that would fix these problems, calling it StatsDrone. Now, having scratched an itch that he experienced earlier in his career, he now heads the team at StatsDrone, making a tool that addresses affiliate tracking challenges. Let's go now to Montreal and hear from John Wright. John Wright, welcome to Funnel Reboot.
Hi, Glenn. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm really glad to have you. Today we are going to talk about, most people know this by a very common name. Do you want to lay that name on me?
Affiliate marketing.
There you go.
Yeah, I get asked this question from a lot of people, especially from friends that are totally outside the space. And they're like, what is it? And usually for the last 10 years, people would associate it with pop-ups, things that are spammy related. But I basically just say it's getting a commission for some sort of transaction where usually it's done by a tracking link, and that tracking link can usually have a lot of code. But we've all seen it in different forms. Like it could be a code or a bonus code or a tracking parameter. But at the end of the day, it's all about having a system or some sort of tech stack in place that just helps identify that you as the referrer or affiliate, you're going to get paid a commission for an activity, whether it's a one-time sale, recurring revenue, cost per acquisition, which is getting paid for a single sale. And it could even be pay-per-click.
Right. Yeah. Okay. A lot there, but let's maybe talk about some common applications. Maybe people aren't aware. You mentioned that these could be like consumer tchotchkes or, little discretionary purchases. But I've seen affiliate marketing used for enterprise B2B software. One of the things that, kind of makes sense in this age of APIs and companies needing to amass a stack of applications is they want them to talk to each other. And, if I've already bought a marketing automation tool and it's collecting data, that data maybe I need to port into a CRM, or I need to send it over to a financial software solution. Because that's an ordinary flow, it's very common for B2B vendors to have preferred partners, right? They've already written the APIs, they talk nice with each other, and they want to encourage us to have the full stack. So they will list their preferred partners. And yes, if we buy it, they're going to get a commission for their role in helping bring that about. So I see it more and more, and I think it's something that isn't going to go. It's not going to lessen. I think over time it's only going to grow. What do you think?
I think it's going to get stronger for a couple of reasons. First, I'm going to get into the reality of today where we've kind of gone through a couple pseudo market crashes in the last couple of years, and we're not even sure if we're trending up or trending down. But as companies struggle to expand their marketing department, usually paid spend is one of the first things that gets cut when companies are struggling with budgets.
Yep.
And usually what happens is people start going towards the well of affiliate marketing where it's pay to play. You're only paying for performance. So we've actually seen, like ever since COVID kind of pushed people more in the digital age a bit further, more people relying on affiliate marketing and realizing, maybe we should tap into this channel. So that's one thing. Another thing is that, I mean, we've known influencer marketing has been around for a long time, but
Right.
of course, it's just gotten stronger and stronger. Well, influencer marketing has a direct effect on affiliate marketing. And I talked to a couple of B2B experts, and they describe it as this: influencers are creating demand, and affiliate marketers are capturing the demand. So you can kind of think of it like rain. The
Yeah.
influencers make it rain, and the affiliate marketers sit back and go, oh, when someone who's really popular and influential like Drake talks about a product, let's say it's a store on Shopify. Well,
Yep.
if that Shopify store has an affiliate program, if you're an affiliate and you want to capture that new demand that's just been created out of nothing, then you create a blog or YouTube video, and then you want to have your tracking links to receive that traffic, whether it's search or maybe just social media.
Right. And because we're usually dealing, at least in cases like that, with a retail price, um, the consumer doesn't see any difference in what they pay, correct?
Yeah, they usually don't see a difference, and sometimes they actually get a benefit. Like a couple examples would be if you go through an affiliate program. Sometimes if you have your own audience, let's in the B2B
Yep.
space, this is pretty common. It's like buy through our channel, and we'll give you a special discount that we negotiated with that vendor.
Yep.
So these things are pretty common, and that's why all these coupon code sites exist everywhere. Like you can type in almost any SaaS company and there are searches for coupon codes. So if you think about companies like Trello, well, there's a ton of searches that people are like, I need to find Trello coupon codes. And what is that looking for? You're looking for an affiliate code that's going to probably give you a discount on the regular price. And yeah, I mean, we're all used to coupon codes, but we just kind of forget that there are massive businesses based on just this single concept alone.
Hmm. And I can imagine that it works in both ways. So, Atlassian, the company behind Trello, they may be kind of playing double agent here. They may be allowing people who have audiences to use a code to buy Trello, but they have a massive mailing list themselves, and so I can see them offering, their own audience to other companies who are in adjacent but not competitive spaces.
Yeah, and I mean that can exist as just the affiliate program where it's meant to be a B2B transaction, but it's pretty common to have like a refer a friend inside that platform. So you're in Trello, you're using it, and then Trello comes along and says, "Hey, we're happy that you're using our product and paying for it. We'll give you a code. If your friend signs up, we'll give you like a $10 Amazon gift card or something like that." So I think these things are always everywhere. You'll probably make more on the affiliate program side than the refer a friend, but
Right.
refer a friend is probably another way of actually, maybe that would be another example of what is affiliate marketing. And I think it's the way in which people can understand it without really going too deep in the research.
Yeah. I think, you know, the people who are normally able to think about this are people who have concentrated on their um, first party audiences. And I say that not because they may have a large one, but once they kind of wrap that thinking around their heads, they realize, oh, other people have a first party audience. Maybe I want to get at their audiences. And voila, you know, all it takes is some links and codes and you're there. Uh, you mentioned earlier there's a few ways to do this. So let's take a little bit more time and parse that out because um, what we are getting at really today is how we're tracking this stuff. And every marketer needs to show performance. Every marketer also wants to get insights from the different programs that we're running so that we can, you know, optimize. So, what are the different ways that we can actually set up affiliate marketing so that we can track it?
Good question. In the most primitive way, there is, I'm almost going to say pen and paper, but I've had companies say, if you send us these referrals, just give us their email or do an email introduction. And if they make a sale, you're kind of doing this on a blind trust that they'll say,
Yeah.
hey, the friend you sent over did buy the subscription, and we're going to just basically pay
Hmm.
you out a commission without
Yeah.
any back end, without any login. So that's what I call kind of pen and paper. Um, there are the most common one is if you're on any product or service and you're going through the web page, usually at the bottom you're going to see an affiliate program. And the way that traditionally works is based on this cookie model where you get a tracking link. And the whole
Yeah.
idea with that tracking link is you put it on your website or you email it to a friend or however you want to capture your audience. And if someone clicks on that link, then usually you're paid a commission based on the activity. So you are relying on that affiliate program to not only have a tracking link that actually works properly, but that they're going to honor it and not manipulate the data. So that's one of the biggest fears people have in affiliate marketing is going, well, is this even working? There's been a lot of chatter in the last couple of years, and the chatter is actually becoming pretty noisy right now that Google is going to kill cookies.
Yep.
And there's a lot of changes in privacy and data security in Apple and Facebook and like pretty much all the big players. So what I think there's going to be more of is there's going to be more different types of tracking links, and there's another one called Postbacks or dynamic variables. So it's a server to server tracking. And the way that works is it's a bit geeky, but I'll try to explain it as easy as I can. It's
Sure.
like imagine you're getting a tracking link. Well, that tracking link traditionally is just it's got some code in it. It doesn't really matter what it looks like. But you give that to 10 of your friends, and the program says if all 10 of your friends bought whatever it is you're selling, then that program's going to say you have 10 sales. But the program's not going to say you had 10 sales that came from this IP address and this is the
Right.
purchase amounts. Whereas if you actually had one of those tokenized codes, every time the link is clicked, a code is generated. It gets sent to the program. The program identifies what that user has done, and then they record it in like a ledger. And then they send you back that data saying, you remember those 10 clicks you sent? Well, here's actually, we gave 10 different tracking codes for it, and we can actually tell you what happened on it. So if you on your side set up your tracking link in a pretty tech heavy manner, you can actually monitor everything you've done, the IP address it came from. So it's pretty heavy. And postbacks and dynamic variable S2S tracking it's kind of more for the advanced affiliate. I mean, if you've been in affiliate marketing for years, then this might become maybe a bit more normal. So that usually goes over the heads of most people, and a lot of SEO affiliates that just rely on driving traffic, whether it's search engines or YouTube. You just want a tracking link and you just want to know that you're getting paid for it. So you just want to basically go, how much money did I make today? How much did I make yesterday? Is it good? Can we grow our business? Great.
Yeah, and so it also depends on the models. So, in a simple example like AdSense, you know, the program which Google gives to people who want to um, use their traffic and monetize it if they've got a decent, you know, let's say they have a website that's a publication. All that is being counted really there is the traffic that clicks on those links, and Google, simply pays them back for that because Google is using that as an ad, and Google's obviously collecting more than that from an advertiser. So you're referring, in the case of, let's say, postbacks and dynamic variables, to something where they not only have to go to the website, but there is a later on action, like an actual purchase, or I guess it could even be an offline sale that, a person, enters into a CRM and says, yes, I closed this deal. This is a way for that to get back to the person who originated the traffic.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's with the S2S component, it gets pretty complicated very quickly. If it's the
Yes.
first time you've seen it, it gives you a headache. But then you're like, why do we do this? And affiliate marketers do it for lots of reasons. But I'll give you an example where in a dynamic variable, it's actually very powerful.
Go
So,
ahead.
for example, you're sending your traffic, and let's say you have a website, but within this website, you have a newsletter, you've got your social media channels, you've got a homepage, you've got review pages, and you've got blog posts. So that's a lot of different ways in which you can promote anything you want. So imagine we're talking about, just trying to think of a good example. Maybe it's like a personal finance course, whatever, doesn't matter.
Okay.
So if you link to the homepage and you have a product review and a blog post, that's a lot of channels. So what you want to do is with the dynamic variable, you can use a single link and the program can actually give you back your ledger of data, and you will be able to know very quickly where all your sales are coming from. So for example, you might have a lot of traffic happening on your homepage, but maybe the review page has a lot less traffic, which is kind of normal, but maybe your conversions are coming almost exclusively from that page. When
Yeah.
you know this, that gives you power to say, wait a minute, I care. Some people, they care too much about the homepage and they might be neglecting these smaller pages, which you can invest more time and money into it to grow that channel. So if you realize that feedback mechanism, that's the advantage of having like really advanced tracking links where, we were chatting earlier about like how far can you take this data analysis, and the bigger companies do this because they know how valuable it is and they use this to get better. And it's that slight edge they apply over and over and over again, compounds over time to the point
Yes.
that these companies, they start making millions, and then some of them they're making like tens of millions per month. And yeah, that's when you're talking about becoming a real pro.
Yeah, and isn't that true with most things on the internet, where that network effect or that kind of optimization just gets better and better and better, and you just climb that scale that at the last little bit is basically like shooting straight up, and the money that it's making is a order of magnitude above what the previous levels were. So for doing that, though, most people in their toolbox of tracking tools are looking at things like Google Analytics, and this is going to be hard if someone is trying to do the type of stuff you're describing with GA4. So there's some basic things to think of. You mentioned for your example that maybe they've got a review page and maybe they've got a home page. So GA4 will let you set up key events. Some of us know them as conversions, but that they're now calling them key events, and you can do that, but you can only put about 30 up on your own website. So if you are originating those outbound clicks, you may not be able to create enough of them to start keeping different tracking of these ones. Or if you're sending, let's say, 2 clicks from the same page, maybe it's a book, and maybe the book is sold at Amazon and the book is also sold at, well, we're in Canada, so Indigo. You will have to get under the hood of Google Tag Manager to be able to allow that click on the same page that's going to those 2 different destinations to be counted as a key event. It's messy. And we're only just talking about the clicks right now, and we haven't even gotten into some of those later on transactions that you mentioned, or more. And as you say, the more you're tracking, the more you understand, the better you're able to do. So, are we even using the right tool if we're sitting with our Google Analytics open and we're trying to get an affiliate program, or do we have other options available?
That's a tough one. I'm pretty sure there are other options available, but I mean, we were talking offline earlier, and I said we just got Google Tag Manager set up on our site, on our SaaS site,
Your own
and
site.
yeah, and the analytics that are coming back from it are pretty powerful. But the amount of work that was required to go into it, like we had someone joining our team that set it up, and
Yep.
we're lucky that we have someone who's a pretty good expert at setting this up. But when I look at the work, it's more intimidating than anything else you could do. It's more intimidating than those postback and dynamic variable like advanced tracking links. So I mean, if you've only got like 30 different things you can track on a page, in my opinion, that's enough because you just want to track enough such that you can learn from it and go, what can I change?
Right. What would
But
I do different?
yeah, but just to add a bit of context, you typically want to do this if you have enough volume of traffic and or if you're making enough money from it where you can say, is there a chance for me to optimize something? Usually the way it works is when you're getting started in affiliate marketing, you're looking for any win. So if you get a win, whether it's you did a blog post featuring a new product and that started to make money through the door, you typically don't really need a Google Tag Manager on that. But if you want to think, well, maybe I'm getting 1,000 impressions per day on this page and I get one sale. Maybe you can think, well, is it possible to get 2 sales out of this? And that's where a thing like Tag Manager can help you do a bit more than what analytics can do. Because
Yeah.
analytics will tell you how much time is being spent on the page. It'll tell you how they got to the page, but they're not really going to tell you what they're clicking on. And if you set up a Tag Manager properly, you'll be able to see all the different ways a user's interacting with your website. Like if you've got, like you said, different types of links for different products or different ways of linking to it. These are things that you can start A/B split testing, but it's usually more advanced. And I say get some wins under your belt first before you dive into this. And this is usually more, I don't know, set up for trying to take an actual business that's already making money and go, can we optimize it further? That's the time when you want to start considering this, whether you want to learn it yourself or find an expert that can help you with this.
Absolutely. And it is, ultimately, we've been talking thus far about, clicks and kind of did an order happen, just like measuring each transaction as if they're all the same. But where you really want to get to is where you're tracking the money. And that's what we're going to do after we take a really short break. I'll step away to address one thing that's been missing from Funnel Reboot: the ability to access the text of any show. I'm glad to finally announce that the podcast is now fully searchable and copyable thanks to the transcript feature in YouTube. Yes, YouTube. Now, if shows are audio only, they are all on YouTube. Whether you're looking for a specific episode, a topic, or want to search the full text of a show for a specific part, go on to YouTube, head to Funnel Reboot's channel. Okay, now let's get back to the show. So, John, we've got some components here that using money can be applied to. Clearly, one would be if there's a set amount that we know the place where we're sending them, what the value of that item is. And we also even have some money that we need to think about if we are spending money to acquire traffic to come to our website. And obviously we would want to make sure that we're spending less than we're getting so that our net revenue is higher. When we start stepping up into using money for this, help us orient ourselves. What software or what even regimen do we need to start using? You mentioned things like different variables that are being passed back and forth and links. Where is this money actually being stored so that we can later on do this kind of analysis?
Yeah. So there are lots of affiliate programs out there, and there's lots of what I call network affiliate programs or traffic networks where they basically pay you per click or pay for performance. And typically what you're doing is you're monitoring. You typically want to stay on top of how much money you're making. So that sounds like common sense, but getting that data from the programs you work with is not so straightforward. We built a tool that does this, and in my research, I believe it's only 1 to 2% of affiliates are actually tracking this properly. Where
Ooh.
they're actually, like, if you look at one tool that is a competitor, it's called Nifty Stats. Nifty Stats brags that they have 20,000 happy customers. Now, if there are 20,000 happy customers and they're one of the better known affiliate stats trackers, then it's like, well, how many affiliates are there in the world?
Mm.
And if you
Yep.
start adding up what's public knowledge, Amazon has, I think, probably well over 1 million affiliates. You look at ShareASale and you can see numbers, I think, maybe that approach 700,000. And you can kind of reverse engineer what these other affiliate networks are worth. So there's lots of different ways of doing it. I'll be very honest. I have less experience when it comes to paid media or pay-per-click, as they call it.
Uh-huh.
But I'm more on the SEO side. So SEO, it's kind of like you build
Yeah.
content, you rank, and then you kind of collect that rain, so to speak. But
Yes.
what's powerful about paid marketing that I'm learning from my SEO friends that's important is that sometimes you can actually test, should I even create a page that is on this product? Well, a good way to test it is to create one of those pages. And then if you want to invest more on the SEO side, which is usually link building or something else, you basically can start going to different traffic networks like Google or Facebook ads and say, I'm going to spend some money on this and I want to see if this is giving me an ROI. So,
Yep.
of course, you need to understand what you paid, which is pretty obvious. And you need to stay on top of how much money you've made. And you just can't let this run forever, or you can't let it run without looking at it. So, probably more advanced affiliates, they're staying on top of this data. There are link tracking tools like Volume, for example, or Kaitaro that will make it easier to see what you're getting. And then there's other traffic networks that they do a lot of this work for you. They basically say, like, here's your traffic and here's what we're going to pay you. So your job is just to stay on the positive side of it. So it's not easy. It's another complex area. There's a lot of people that are making a lot of fast money in the pay-per-click space. But there's also a lot of people making even more money on the SEO space. So it's kind of
Yes.
like, pick what you want. It's like
Yeah.
one's investing, the other one's trading.
That's an excellent way to put it, right? Because I'm paying for traffic, and then I'm hopefully, just making my money back on it plus some. That kind of arbitrage that can change very fast, and if you don't stay with it, you're going to get bit. But I really liked how you said, using it's kind of a rent to own approach of I'm going to do a short term paid search campaign, and I'm looking for information to tell me whether or not the time and the waiting to build the authority that is going to get me organically ranking is worth it. So you've radically shrunk the time to results, but only just to get a whiff of whether or not you really should be going into that topic.
Yeah, it's a great strategy. I've heard this from many SEO pros that don't typically do any PPC or paid media, but they use that as for testing, and it's a great way to test the waters and not lose too much money, but go, hey, is this worth investing in? Especially from the not the rent to own side, but the more invest, which is search engine optimization.
Right. So if we are, maybe we're beyond just getting that couple of wins so we can see that something's working, and we actually are now looking at using affiliates to make enough revenue that we know we want to make it better. What are the sorts of things that tools like yours can provide us with to take us further down that path?
Yeah, it's a good question. So you mentioned previously that there's APIs that you can get this data from your affiliate programs.
Hmm.
At the moment, we have support for 1,300 affiliate programs, and probably about 750 have API. So what's pretty sad state of affiliate marketing today is that most programs, or like maybe half of them, don't have an API in the first place, which
Mm.
is a real big pain.
Yeah.
So what we do is we just help the affiliate, whether you're working with 5 affiliate programs or 500 or 2,500, it doesn't matter. We help you get that data, and we help you get that every day. And that can take a lot of time. If you're working with 50 affiliate programs and I ask you, how much money did you make this month or last month? It's you got to go and grab that data, and storing it in Excel is simply not fun. So that's kind of it's a tool that, as affiliates become more, as they start making money and turn this into an actual real business, this is where the need starts to, where the need comes from of actually having to use tools like this. So we're one of many on the market, but I like to think of this as people being problem aware, not solution aware. So people aren't really searching for affiliate stats aggregator. Like
Right.
that's a mouthful, and it's not very sexy. Maybe people might look for affiliate CRM, but then when you think about a CRM, you're like, well, what is that? Like, no one's really defined a CRM in affiliate marketing. Usually CRM's associated with your contacts or your sales. So
Sure.
there's a lot of work to do on this side for sure.
Yes. Maybe it's fair to say, though, that for any of these tools, that someone will quickly hit that barrier where they realize without automation, the time that it's going to spend a marketer to even gather the performance data is now large enough that if you do what accountants tell us to do and push that into the cost of that sale that you got from it, that it could be large enough that it actually would turn something from, being in the black to being in the red. So you have to factor that time that you're spending into your campaign. You can't simply use the dollars and cents of what the reporting software is if it took you that long to pull it together.
Exactly. And I know there's a lot of companies like ours and others that they're working on ways of automating some of this work, but there's even more work to automate. So if you think about what an affiliate needs to be good at, they usually need to be good at the marketing side, or creating not just content, but creating traffic. And the other part of it is sometimes been the tech side. It's not just building your website, it's the link tracking, it's collecting of the data, and it's optimization of the ads. So we are working on that, but we also know that there's a lot of other companies that are working on ad tech that will just make life a lot easier. So we're not there yet, but if you wait 1 or 2 years, I think there's going to be a lot of interesting tools on the market that's going to make the stuff that only was available to the wealthy affiliates. I think it's going to be in the hands of people that they're simply influencers and they don't have time to learn about all this advanced tracking stuff. Like everything that we talked about before, they
Yep.
need this as a done for you service. And I believe in 2 years, we're going to have that where people, they're going to be like, I know you guys do all that work for us, but yeah, don't bring us into this conversation.
Well, let's talk about that for a second. So I imagine that before a tool like yours is in place, that the onboarding of influencers or the setting up of reports to get this data back is, manual and pretty painful. Paint a picture for us of what it's like once something like StatsDrone is in place so that we can cut down on steps. What sorts of things, like block and tackle stuff, what is set up with an influencer? What is set up with the downstream? How does that look?
That's a good question. So I'm going to go forward on the ad tech side of it, which is
Sure.
it can be a tracking link, but usually it's something that's more sexy than a tracking link. So it could be an ad or a widget. And if you think about a site like Credit Karma, you go on there
Right.
and what do you see? You see really nice curated listings of the credit cards and the insurance offers. You see the logos and the data points, the pros and cons and the ratings. And this takes a bit of time to set up. So remember when I said that affiliates need to be good at the tech and at driving traffic or creating traffic? This is
Yes.
the tech part of it. So we know that influencers would love to have this sort of thing on a page, or it could be on like a link tree, like a single link tree. Imagine Linktree that instead of links, it could be that exact offer. So it's got the logo, it's got the curated offer. I think this type of ad tech this is what will be built in the future, and the ad tech is going to be what you see on the surface, but what's behind it, or what will be behind it, will be all this financial tracking of like well, how many impressions did it get? How many clicks did it get? How much money did it make? And I think once we start getting to this place, that's when affiliate marketing is really going to take off. There's going to be a lot more money made on this. And, it's the fact that influencers will be able to one click their way to this sort of power is interesting. And I think influencers, they're actually very hesitant about affiliate marketing. So it's very easy to get an influencer to say, okay, you can get paid for your affiliate activity, or we'll just give you a set of money up front. They would rather
Yep.
take the money up front because they don't know what they're dealing with and they don't want to deal with the back end and tracking money. But if you can make this a done for you service,
Right.
I'm taking one more step further, and I actually think affiliate networks are going to be the things that make influencer marketing a lot more, to just to make this whole affiliate marketing stuff more digestible, where it's like, look, I just want you to do this for me, and I've got the traffic, help me monetize it, and if I can make more money, just show me how I've made more money, and then of course make sure that money hits the bank.
And we are seeing it more and more. I mean, where it comes to mind for me is look at the movie industry, where, films from Star Wars to, more recent ones, like the Mission Impossible series, where the actors have chosen to take on the back end, right? They say, I want a percent of ticket sales at the door. Or Taylor Swift, as she's recently done with her tour, and saying, I am now the person who is, in charge of all the distribution. I'm taking a large chunk of, when people either show up to my events or watch the movie about it. This is now becoming a very well-known thing. And what's always mentioned with those stories is that those people made way more than if they had negotiated a fat upfront amount, because it might have seemed like a lot at the time, but it pales in comparison to a performance-based payout.
Yeah. And I think the reason why those megastars get those performance-based payouts is because it's the only way to grab their attention. I mean, look at Lionel Messi joining MLS.
Uh-huh.
I think he got a really sweet deal with Apple TV about getting like a cut of the revenue. I don't know the exact deal, but when you hear about deals like that, they
Right.
start at the top of the food chain in terms of the influencer world, and then eventually these things are going to become more accessible to other influencers, and
Yeah.
it's
And
just
well,
another extension of it.
maybe we have them to thank for blazing a trail in making the tech so that it can work. They're establishing protocols, and, I'm sure Postbacks and the dynamic variables probably began as something that was part of a mega deal that only the biggest and top of the food chain players were using, but now it's becoming democratized.
Yeah, and it's becoming democratized in a different way, which is kind of like, in order for Apple to make sure they get the best value out of that Lionel Messi deal, it's like, all the right tracking has to be done in place. So even there, like, that's a done for you service for them. They don't want to have to deal with all that stuff. They don't want to have to deal with the tech. They just want to sign the deal, take the money, and then say, okay, if it's rev share, great. They're going to enjoy it all day long. But it's done for you in that perfect example, and then eventually someone's going to create that done for you service over and over again with ever different types of models and different industries, and you name it.
Sweet. We have many things that are happening in our industry right now, and I want to have you go back to one thing that you were saying when you were talking about where we might be going here. We're at a stage where some of the privacy stuff, cookie deprecation, is up in the air, but we also have AI and its ability to perhaps change the user experience that people have on the web. So I'm gonna, hand you the mic for a second, and just, can you give me any of your shoot from the hip forecasts of what the tracking of affiliate traffic and this whole field might be looking like, or might be changing like, in the next little while?
Yeah, you just kind of like took a box of fireworks and lit them on fire and just threw them over me and said, "Here, figure this out."
There you go.
Yeah, it's AI is a big can of worms. I mean, I don't even know where to start because I think it has an opportunity to make a lot of money for people, but I also think it has an immense power to kill a lot of jobs, and it's going to do some interesting things in affiliate marketing. And yeah, like where it's going to go, I'm not sure, because I mean, we're in the middle of this unknown territory of going, well, what does data privacy look like? And I think we're seeing things where, like, I think it was the other day, it's like, you want to download books on your Kindle. Well, if you do that on your Android phone, it's like, sorry, because of data privacy laws, we can't do this. You have to go do it manually. And it's you're like, wait a minute, it's 2024 and we can't do these things anymore. So I think the data privacy laws are going to get probably a bit more extreme. And I think we're going to see a lot of fighting where people are getting pissed off at companies like Apple for, controlling a monopoly and saying, okay, we've got this massive marketplace and, we're going to cut everyone out from having the ability to track their own customers, but we're going to be the only ones who own this data. So it's going to be a can of worms, and AI is going to basically just, in my opinion, it's going to disrupt even more stuff. It might even distract us from that conversation of data privacy where we're like, wait a minute, it's, AI has the potential of just like making data privacy a bigger headache. And then, of course, you're going to find, in my opinion, AI is going to happen in countries where they're just going to say, well, you know what? We're going to be like the AI hub where we're not going to listen to any laws in different countries, and we're just going to let people do what they want, which, in my opinion, amounts to stealing. So, box of fireworks there.
But different jurisdictions will have different ways of dealing with it. And the matter of, I think, what somebody in your position appreciates is that publishers are especially hurt when privacy or tracking is taken away or obscured in the name of privacy. And there is a point at which they would buckle. And let's face it, a lot of what we use the internet for is to get information. So when it pushes that far and their economic models are no longer viable, we really have no choice but to come back because we need a usable internet. So anyway, that's my little firecracker thrown into that too. John, if people want to find out about StatsDrone and maybe reach out to you, where would you send them?
Well, I'll give my email, John, John, at statsdrone.com. So statsdrone.com is the site. I'm on LinkedIn, but search for John Wright StatsDrone, because if you look for just regular John Wright, you're going to find thousands of them. It's unfortunately a very common name, but
Right with a W. Yeah.
Yes. And some of my social handles are always look right, as an RIGHT. So you just want to look right,
Very good. All right. Well, we'll have those in the show notes. And John, I just want to say thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate the questions. A couple tough ones in there, but it was good.
I try not to, punish people too much, but I definitely think we got value out of you. And to all of you listening, this has given you better insights. So get those better insights into your marketing so you can make it even better.
Thanks for listening. Follow the show on Twitter at Funnel Reboot. If you like what you have heard today, please consider leaving a review wherever you get your podcasts.